how do we, as both managers, leaders, and influencers, when we look around at our people, how do we help them pour out their bucket? Well, g'day and welcome to another episode of LeaderBite. Today we're talking about a fascinating topic around the idea of emotional intelligence, but it's more referring to emotional buckets, your emotional EQ bucket, how you handle yours and how you can help others manage theirs. And I want you to think about this topic, and what's really cool is it applies to you, it applies to me, from the boardroom to the bedroom to the basketball court. And if you think about a basketball court real quickly, think about a time where you've noticed a player running down, and this could apply to any game, but for basketball, he's running down the court and he gets a slight elbow from the opposition player, and he turns around and smack, knocks the guy out cold. And you say to yourself, what? How did you go from 2 to 10 so quickly? The answer is emotional buckets. Think about it too when you've seen your wife who's been sitting at home with the kids all day, or you know, a friend that sits home with kids all day, and it gets home to the evening, 6, 7 o'clock, and then the kid says one thing and the wife explodes. And this can happen in any relationship, and the answer is emotional buckets. And so imagine if this was your emotional bucket, and you hear these things about the bucket list, and I'm doing this activity, skydiving, because it fills my buckets. You know, I really enjoy this line of work because it fills my buckets. It's kind of the same principle with a little bit of a twist. Because every time you and I walk around, we ask people and we interact with people and we do work and we do adventure sports and we do fitness and we do other things that drive passion to fill our buckets, yes. And when it gets to a stage every single day where the bucket is getting really, really full, and sometimes we can pour on where the bucket starts to overflow. And in real life, this right here, this overflowing of a bucket, is the idea of becoming no longer emotionally resourceful in a situation because your capacity has been met. So if you've ever come home from work, or if you've ever been 3 o'clock in the boardroom and somebody walks in and dumps a whole lot of work on you, and you physically step back and say, I just can't handle this right now, it's because your emotional bucket is tapped and it's overflowing. And so the answer is, how do we, as both managers, leaders, and influencers, when we look around at our people, how do we help them pour out their bucket in a healthy and resourceful way? That could look like taking them outside and going for a walk and having them chat. I know that even when you're working with a girlfriend or a spouse, sometimes letting her just download after a day is huge, because that's her doing this so that you can spend the rest of the evening, you know what I'm talking about, doing this and filling her bucket back up, right? So in the workplace this week, when you step back in as a leader, as a manager, pretend that these 2 cups here were representative of your people. How are you, when you work with them, because everybody has different ways of individually emptying their cup in a healthy way, how can you help your people empty their cup so that when you pour in, you're not overflowing them or overwhelming them or having them lose their emotional resourcefulness? Instead, they're catching it in a healthy way that can help you be more emotionally savvy and your team to be more effective throughout the week. Something great for you to talk to your people about, and I hope that it's something that you can chew on. And we'll see you next week on LeaderBite. Cheers.